All right. First rule of this channel, we do not talk about this channel. Second rule of this channel, this is not legal advice. So, welcome to Chasing the Dragon, week 12. This is the reactive waiver wire show. Should make it really quick and simple after getting done with my notes for tomorrow's after waiver show. So, the guy to pick up this week, long story short, is Zach Charbonnet. He should be rostered pretty much everywhere as the cuff to Kenneth Walker, but if he's available, the main thing that I would be thinking about from a fantasy perspective is how much is a win worth to me and how much is a win worth to my opponent. So, with Kenneth Walker going out last week, or I guess yesterday, Charbonnet came in, did 85% of snaps, 15 for 47, and another 6 for 6 for 22 in the passing game. So overall, I would expect that these numbers are probably a little inflated. I could see that Kenny McIntosh, the rookie from Georgia, is activated for this week's game on Thursday. So that might cut into the usage just a little bit. But between the two main things that I could see happening, especially because Charbonnet is going to be more of the pass blocking back, I could definitely see that he's going to get the first shot at red zone work, and he's going to get the majority of the receiving work that comes out of the backfield. So overall, like I could definitely see, at least for a 1 week rental, him being a bell cow. So again, how much is a win worth to you? And it may take a little while for us to find out like the long term effects of this injury to Kenneth Walker. And I don't just mean from how many weeks he's going to be out. If Charbonnet gets a hold of the backfield, I don't think that Kenneth Walker is going to go away. It just means that it's going to be harder to take away more work from Zach Charbonnet and give it to Kenneth Walker, which means Zach Charbonnet was already a fringe standalone value to begin with before the injury happened. So I could definitely see that there could be a slight uptick on week to week predictability of usage based off of how well he holds on the backfield as is. Kenneth Walker is still kind of a boom bust type of back, and Charbonnet is probably going to be a little bit safer without the ceiling. All right. And that's from a real football perspective, not just a fantasy perspective. So the other guy, AJ Dillon, Aaron Jones, it looks like didn't tear his ACL, but for the foreseeable future, it looks like he's going to be out. Again, AJ Dillon would be another guy that I would be surprised is available in a lot of competitive leagues. But if he is, yeah, he's another guy. Like, how much is a win worth? He probably isn't going to get all the work. He's at 72% of snaps. Their other back, who I don't even remember the name of, he got injured also in this game. They re-signed James Robinson. I would not be surprised that James Robinson is actually active, and I just wanted to go check real quick. So the Packers do play the Lions on Thursday night, so I could definitely see that James Robinson's active. And it wouldn't surprise me with this that AJ Dillon's still going to get relatively about 70% of the work overall, and most of the valuable work, the red zone and the receiving work going forward. So again, if he's available in your league, and he shouldn't be, yeah, like how much is a win worth? He probably has more week to week value going forward than Charbonnet, even though I do think that AJ Dillon is not as talented, i.e., athletically gifted either than Charbonnet. So overall, his floor and ceiling are going to be capped, and I can definitely see that Green Bay is not just going to ride Dillon for the rest of the season. They already have brought in James Robinson. Not to say that I think that James Robinson has anything left in the tank. I could definitely see that there's going to be a number 2 running back that was used when Aaron Jones was out earlier. They did the same thing in this backfield, and AJ Dillon didn't get all the work, especially the receiving work. So again, it's more about how much is one win worth than it is for like long-term planning on either of these guys. But I would not, they shouldn't be rostered in any league. And again, if these guys go down or if their cuff goes down during the playoffs, like that's when they become much more valuable because there's going to be so few running backs left. So just getting these guys off the playing board is probably worth a fair amount of whatever he's got left going forward. And I'll talk about this more in the after waiver show tomorrow. A lot of your fab, like you can't take it home with you. So if you're not being kind of reactive right now, and the only other money that you could be spending in fab leagues is going to be towards defenses, which again, you should just be spending that money. This is the time of the year to do the playoff push and get ready for your playoffs overall. So Jaden Reed should be another guy. He was on the board last week. I would spend more money on him this week than I would last week. I would be more aggressive with him. The 3 overall targets that he got, the 3 overall carries that he got intrigued me more than actually his 6 targets for 4 receptions this week. And he did score a touchdown on the rushing work. He was up to 69% snaps from last week when he was at 51% snaps. The other thing that intrigues me about this situation is he may be operating as the de facto number 2. His snaps should go up at least for a week. So again, how much is a win worth? Christian Watson was injured. And then Wicks, the 6th rounder from Virginia, was injured. So moving further up into that the food chain of how many opportunities that he's going to get peppered with on Thursday night, I could definitely see him getting up into double-digit opportunities, and he's got enough athletic gifts that I could definitely see him winning the week. So he would definitely be a guy that I would be more interested in. Again, from how much is a win worth. Remembering that wide receiver 3s are not going to win leagues, and this is a very crowded receiving room. There's 2 tight ends and 4 receivers that are going to have to fight for opportunities. In the case of Jaden Reed and the Packers offense, they don't play fast, and there's some play calling issues with a quarterback that is questionable with how much talent he has. So again, trying to predict who's going to get the work on a week-to-week basis is going to be difficult long-term. But at least for the Thursday night game coming up, this is a guy that I could definitely see winning a week. So I would be aggressive towards him if I need that week, or my opponent looks like he's going to need that week. So the other guy, moving forward, Isaiah Likely, the tight end for the Ravens. I'm personally not interested in him. I've chased him before when Mark Andrews has been out. He hasn't seemed to overall produce. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the Ravens receivers here in a second, but overall, like, the tight end landscape is so bad that like chasing after anything, if you really are desperate at this point, is probably not a bad idea. So again, I can understand the logic behind like the one predictable piece of the Ravens offense, besides or even with Lamar Jackson, is the tight end position was Mark Andrews. So expecting that Isaiah Likely can like step in apples to apples is not poor logic. I just don't know how much is going to happen. So when we look at the other guy, Odell Beckham, who finally like had a relatively fantasy relevant week on 33% snaps because he went out with the shoulder, 7 for 4 for 116. Again, there are 4 wide receivers in this offense, and then there was Mark Andrews before he went out. Expecting that Isaiah Likely is going to step in and get a certain amount of opportunity and production from that. So again, trying to predict anything that has to do with this Ravens offense this year has been relatively futile outside of Mark Andrews. So would I go chasing Odell Beckham? No, because again, I don't think he's going to rise to anything more than a wide receiver 3, and wide receiver 3s tend to grow on trees. So again, with Odell Beckham, I don't even know if he's going to play this week. It does say that like on Sleeper that it's not a long-term injury, but I don't know if that means he's going to play on Sunday. Then they have a bye week. So again, that would tend to make me think that he's going to miss again this week because they can hold him over the bye week and have him back week 14. And then trying to predict of the 4 receivers, Aguilar, Zay Flowers, who's been rather inconsistent, and then Rashad Bateman. And Odell Beckham's snap share, has not gone above, 92% snaps week 1, and then he's been hovering around 50 to 30% snaps since that point. So that's just not something I would be very comfortable chasing outside of like extreme desperation. And again, that would be if the tea leaves say he's actually going to play this week. All right, Jeff Wilson. So Jeff A-Chain, and I heard other people call him something else. I'm just going to call him A-Chain. Devon A-Chain left early with the game, re-aggravated the same knee injury he had. Jeff Wilson was not active this week. He was a healthy inactive. Is this a guy that I would be interested, not from a general standing, I need to play a guy. I think there are better guys out there, and some of them may still be available in certain leagues like a Charbonnet or Ty Chandler. But overall, if I have Mostert and Jeff Wilson is available, I probably would be aggressive towards cuffing, knowing that there's more of a straight pathway to either win a week or win a league if another running back goes down in this offense. I was a little surprised. I think Mostert was up to like 85% snaps in this game. So I don't think that they'll necessarily bring in Jeff Wilson and have him compete, even when he was active over this 3-game stretch from week 7 to week 9, 14, 25, 17 percentage of snaps. So I don't necessarily see that changing, and I don't necessarily see that like if A-Chain's out, Solomon Ahmed, who got a lot of the work also last week, is just going to magically go away. So I would not be aggressive towards Wilson other than if I was the Mostert owner and I was trying to cuff. And then finally, Tutu Atwell. The only reason why I think he was brought up because I did go trolling about and see like who other people were talking about. This is not a particularly good week for waivers. Cooper Kupp may not miss any time, but if he does, I could definitely see Tutu Atwell having the most value out of almost everybody we talked about outside the two running backs, because I could see him slotting into that number 2 role, and he's already de facto acted that way when Cooper Kupp was out earlier in the season. So the first 4 games of the season when Cooper Kupp was injured, 79% snaps, he was fantasy relevant. Pretty much the first few weeks of the season before Cooper Kupp came back, and then he went away, and he was still operating at a relatively high snap share because this is the guy they take their more vertical shots with. So he would have some value with the asterisk next to him. It would mean that Cooper Kupp would have to miss for him to be a good fantasy play. Otherwise, he's just a dart throw at this point. So anyway, that's about all I got this week for Chasing the Dragon. And I'll get my after waiver show thing done tomorrow.